My show is called Music Goats with DJ Ray, and I feature a different music theme every week and try to figure out the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Hi, Mary. The greatest tonight we're looking for is the greatest 90s artist. Another great pick, Dancing Queen, Madonna. So, greatest 90s artist of all time. Okay, well, I guess of all time, of the decade, but it sounds better all time. We're going to kick things off here by counting down from number 20 right down to number 1, and we're going to jump right in with number 20. And you might be a little surprised by this number 20 pick because you probably think it's way higher, but you got to keep in mind some of them go off the cusp. So if they end their career in 93, what about the last 7 years? They didn't really, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to give a little precedence to the artists that were longest in the 90s. This one here came in kind of the middle of the 90s, so that's why they're lower than you might think. Coming in at number 20 of the greatest 90s artists of all time, NSYNC. Originating out of Orlando, Florida, NSYNC was formed in 1995 with members Chris Kirkpatrick, Lance Bass, Joey Fatone, JC, I can't say his last name good, Shazez, and of course, Justin Timberlake. In addition to receiving 9 Grammy nominations, they have sold over 70 million records worldwide. Their most popular singles in the 90s include hits like I Want You Back, 1996, Tearing Up My Heart, 1997, A Little More Time on You, 1998, and Music of My Heart, 1999. Of course, they had other songs in the 2000s, but we're not really focusing on that tonight. We want to know who's the greatest of the 90s. Entertainment Weekly ranked NSYNC as the best boy band of the 1990s, the best boy band. And in 2018, they received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. NSYNC came out basically, they were formed in 1995, so they missed the first half of the 90s. So as great as they did in the 90s, it always helps if you the more years that you're putting out music and releasing records and stuff. So coming in at number 20 on DJ Ray's greatest 90s artist of all time, NSYNC. Uncle Mike's got Bon Jovi, another great pick. You guys are so good at your picks. Like, it must be good to have the internet, eh? Just to, like Teddy, Britney Spears started in the late 90s. I mean, she was dynamic. The question you have to ask yourself is, did she come too late to be the greatest of the 90s, or is she more the greatest of the 2000s? Just saying. You pick what you think. I mean, some of them could be so big that they could just be there for 2 years, 1999, 1998 and 1999, and be the greatest. Depends how big they are. But number 20 is NSYNC, which takes me to number 19, the greatest 90s artist. Keep that in mind. It's not all time, because I don't think this artist beat NSYNC, but for the 90s, they definitely beat NSYNC. Originating out of Atlanta, Georgia, TLC is an American R&B girl group that enjoyed immense success during the 1990s. Between the years 1991 and 1999, they scored a total of 9 top 10 hits on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. Thank you for the gift. This includes 4 number 1 singles that TLC had. Creep, 1994, Waterfalls, 1995, No Scrubs, 1999, and Unpretty, also in 1999. Having sold over 95 million records worldwide, they are one of the best-selling American girl groups of all time. According to Billboard magazine, TLC is the second most successful girl group on the Billboard charts, just behind the Supremes. Pretty good company. And higher than Destiny's Child, so very good company. Their career accolades include 4 Grammy Awards, 5 MTV Video Awards, 5 Soul Train Awards, and 1 AMA. So coming in, hi Johnny, how's it going, buddy? Coming in at number 19 on my greatest 90s artists of all time, it's TLC. Oh, I like that one. The little running shoes. Those sandals, or I like that one. I've never seen that one before. And with that, just a quick reminder for you just joining me. Yeah, Waterfalls. I mean, they had so many great songs, TLC, but Waterfalls is pretty cool. I love Red Light Special. Creep, No Scrubs. They're all good. I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday night live on your choice, Facebook or TikTok live, 8 o'clock sharp. And my show is called Music Goats with DJ Ray. And every week I choose a different music theme to figure out who the greatest of all time really is. Yes, everything's great with me, Johnny. Thanks, buddy. And tonight it's the greatest 90s artist of all time. So far at number 20, we have NSYNC with Justin Timberlake. Number 19, we have TLC. And number 18, we can pick rock bands too. Coming in at number 18 is Pearl Jam, the 18th greatest artist of the 2000s. Formed in Seattle, Washington, Pearl Jam was one of the key bands that helped form the grunge movement of the early 1990s. Dubbed the most popular rock band of the decade, they have sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. With a very loyal fan base on their side, they released many popular singles throughout the 90s, including songs like Alive, 1991, Jeremy, 1992, Daughter, 1993, Spin the Black Circle, 1994, I Got ID, 1995, Who You Are, 1996, Given to Fly, 1997, and their highest charting U.S. single, Last Kiss, in 1999. So you see there, their first was 1991, their last was 1999. So that certainly gave Pearl Jam a push into the top 20, having that much influence in the 90s. They were really a 90s band, like you said, a key part of the grunge movement out of Seattle. In a reader's poll issued by Rolling Stone magazine, Pearl Jam was listed at number 8 on their list of the top live acts ever. And in 2017, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Heaven. Rock and Roll Hall of Heaven. Yeah, that's it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 18 is Pearl Jam. Mary's got Mariah Carey. I think somebody picked that. I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. If you think it's the best, pick it anyway. So you come in second. At least you show you know your music, right? So you can either change to another one, or because whoever picks first gets that one. So, but some great picks coming in. Okay, number 20, NSYNC. Number 19, TLC. And number 18 is Pearl Jam, which takes me to number 17, another rock band, Green Day. Remember those guys? Formed in Rodeo, California back in 1987. Green Day is an American rock band credited with repopularizing mainstream interest in punk rock music. Their most popular 90s hit includes Basket Case, 1994, When I Come Around, 1995, and Good Riddance, 1997. As of 2024, Green Day has sold approximately 75 million records worldwide. Throughout their career, they have been honored with 5 Grammy Awards, including Best Rock Album for American Idiot. Some of their other accolades include 2 Brit Awards, 6 Billboard Music Awards, and 11 MTV Video Awards. Number 17, I tip my hat to Green Day. Yeah. On DJ Ray's greatest music artists of the 90s. And Green Day carried that momentum right into the 2000s and probably are considered one of the greatest bands of all time at this point. But number 17 of the 90s. And one thing I just got to say about the 90s before I get to number 16 here is I've always said that, and I guess I shouldn't be saying this when I'm pushing a 90s theme, but I always found like the 90s were the weakest decade of music. Even today, I mean, the 2020s hasn't been overly strong either, but the 2000s, 2000 to 2010 were amazing. 2011 to 2020 were solid. 2020s have been getting better, so the 80s, although a little bit synthesized and everything, were solid. A lot of great rock bands. 70s were the best. And the 60s were amazing. So British Invasion, everything. So the 90s, I always thought was a little bit weak, but I don't think you're going to find that on these choices tonight. I'm picking the best of the 90s. And after looking at my research here, there are some pretty good bands, and music ages well too. You know, I remember when grunge music first came out. You know, with like I was saying, Pearl Jam and whatnot, Radiohead and whatnot. I was like, what is this noise? And it just, I don't know, just, but it grew on me. And grunge music's one of my favorites now. So, anyway, so far we have for the greatest 90s artists of all time, we've got NSYNC at number 20, TLC at number 19, Pearl Jam at number 18, Green Day at number 17, number 16, Lenny Kravitz. Born in New York City on May 26, 1964, Lenny Albert Kravitz is an American singer, musician, and record producer who defined his music career by blending elements of rock, funk, reggae, soul, and R&B. He produced some of his greatest recordings during the 1990s with hits like Mr. Cab Driver, 1990, It Ain't Over Till It's Over, 1991, Are You Gonna Go My Way, 1993, Believe, 1993, Fly Away, 1998, and his remake of the Guess Who original, American Woman, in 1999. Shout out to the Canadian bands. In 1993, his music video for Are You Gonna Go My Way won the MTV Video Award for Best Male Video. And 1 year later, he earned the Brit Award for Best International Male Solo Artist. He has sold over 40 million albums worldwide, and in 1999, he won the Grammy Award for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance. This was the first of 4 Grammys in a row within the same category, which broke the prior record. Coming in at number 16 on the greatest 90s artists of all time, we go with Lenny Kravitz. Okay, what are you guys thinking so far? I'm seeing a lot of chat going on. Yeah, it's good. Keep it going, guys. It's what the Tuesday's for. You know, there's not much going on. Let's get together and, you know, chat it up a bit. And, you know, I mean, I'd love to play every song here that I do, but I don't know how TikTok would respond to that. And I don't know if we'd have enough time. We'd probably be here till midnight. Break out the champagne. Okay, coming in at number 15 on the greatest 90s artist of all time, Boyz II Men. Known for their soulful ballads and a cappella harmonies, Boyz II Men were all over the US music charts during the 1990s. Between the years 1991 and 1998, they had a total of 13 top 40 singles, of which 4 peaked at number 1. Thank you for that gift. Thank you. These chart toppers include End of the Road, 1992, I'll Make Love to You, 1994, On Bended Knee, 1994, and 4 Seasons of Loneliness, 1997. They were also featured on Mariah Carey's 1995 recording, One Sweet Day. Beautiful song. When their song On Bended Knee took the number 1 spot away from their other song, I'll Make Love to You, Boyz II Men became only the 3rd musical act after the Beatles and Elvis Presley to replace themselves atop Billboard's Hot 100 chart at number 1. This led Billboard magazine to name Boyz II Men as the biggest boy band between the years 1987 all the way through to 2012. I don't know how they come up with that. That's weird. What is that, 25 years or something? I guess if they just put it that way, it would have sounded better. But anyway, it's still pretty good accomplishment. There was some big bands boy bands between 87 and 2012. So coming in at number 15, very soulful. I had them on my daily posts on Sunday for Mama's Day with their song, A Song for Mama. That one went out to my mama. So, yeah, number 15, Boyz II Men. Okay, guys, let's keep it going. We're rolling closer to the top 10, and that's when the serious guns come out. You were thinking, Johnny, Boyz II Men, did you type it in? Keep in mind, Mummy Dearest is doing all the moderating, writing down, you know, what you're saying, so we won't get lost in the sauce if you type something in as your pick. Okay, this next one's kind of interesting at number 14 because, you know, when I think of this artist, I don't think of the 90s, but he had a brilliant 90s. But he hadn't even, well, an even better 70s and 80s. But coming in at number 14, Elton John. Born in Middlesex, England on March 25th, 1947, Reginald Kenneth Dwight, also known as Sir Elton John, is a British singer and pianist who left his imprint on the 70s, 80s, and of course the 90s. Having sold over 300 million records throughout his career, he racked up a slew of hit singles during the 1990s with songs like Sacrifice, 1990, The One, 1992, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, 1994, Circle of Life, 1994, Believe, 1995, and his 1999 US chart topper, Candle in the Wind, which paid tribute to the life and death of the late Princess Diana. Having kicked the drug and alcohol addiction in 1990, many feel that his music was at its best upon entering the decade. He definitely got back to his ballads. He was always a ballad guy, really, if you think about it, but pretty much this whole list is ballads. So, and maybe that's why I thought he was declining a bit in the 90s, but man, he really soared. He doesn't come to mind, but anyway, a 5-time Grammy Award winner. In 1992, Elton John was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and in 1994, he was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So coming in at number 14, it's Elton John. Okay, just before I get to my lucky number 13, I just want to remind you I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock sharp, with my show Music Goats with DJ Ray. The Music Goats meaning the greatest of all time in different music categories. We've started keeping track of the champions. The champion being whoever picks the number one and types it in first is the champion. And we're going to get to number one in a few more minutes. And so far we have 2 champions because we just started it in May. So sorry to anyone who won before that. Mary G, Ange, if I missed your name or whatever, but we're starting it now. And right now, Darren has 1 championship. Uncle Mike has the other, as he won last week for the Canadian Solo Artist. So you still got time. If you haven't typed in one and you see an artist that you think is the greatest 90s artist, type it in. See how well you know your music. Okay, coming in at number 13, Sheryl Crow. Born in Kennett, Missouri on February 11th, 1962, Sheryl Suzanne Crow is an American singer, songwriter, and musician whose music incorporates elements of rock, pop, country, folk, and blues. Her biggest singles throughout the 90s include songs like All I Want to Do, remember that? All I Want to Do is Have Some Fun, 1994. If It Makes You Happy, 1996. Every Day is a Winding Road, 1996. Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997. And My Favorite Mistake, 1998. Sheryl Crow has sold over 50 million albums worldwide and has won a total of 9 Grammy Awards from 32 nominations, and most of those were from the 90s. On November 3rd, 2023, she was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'd be remiss not to mention one other song that Sheryl Crow did, because it's probably her biggest. But if memory serves, it was right at the cusp, right in year 2000 or 2001. Don't quote me on that, but Picture. Oh, look at the cute little dog. Thank you. I think I got a lick there. So yeah, her and Kid Rock did that song Picture. Beautiful song. Just a great ballad, which, by the way, I'll get back to ballads because I got something to announce about that in a little bit. But yeah, Sheryl Crow at number 13. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. At number 20, we had NSYNC. At number 19, we had TLC. Number 18 was Pearl Jam. Number 17 is Green Day. Number 16, Lenny Kravitz. Number 15, Boyz II Men. Number 14 was Elton John. Number 13, Sheryl Crow. And number 12 is REM. Formed in Athens, Georgia back in 1980, REM is one of the very first alternative rock bands. Numerous artists from the 1990s have cited them as an influence, including Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Radiohead, Pearl Jam, and Collective Soul. They laid their alternative rock roots in the 1980s and carried this momentum into the new decade with popular songs like Losing My Religion, 1991, Shiny Happy People, 1991, Man on the Moon, 1992, Everybody Hurts, 1993, and Bang and Blame, 1994. Having sold more than 90 million albums, they are considered as one of the best-selling music artists of all time. In 2007, REM was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2024, they were also inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. In a 1994 interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Kurt Cobain of Nirvana stated the following: "I don't know how that band does what they do. They're the greatest. They've dealt with their success like saints and keep delivering great music." End of quote. Kurt Cobain. Coming in at number 12 on the greatest 90s artists of all time, it's REM, Michael Stipe. Okay, we're one away from the top 10, and that's when I get excited in the top 10, because it just seems like it's getting better. The artists get better and better and better. And how do you top some of these ones we've already said? But we're going to. Number 11, the Backstreet Boys. I was a little surprised that I had NSYNC at 20 and Backstreet Boys at number 11, but because it's a 90s thing and the Backstreet Boys came out a couple years before, that edge makes a difference. So, Backstreet Boys, formed in Orlando, Florida in 1993. The Backstreet Boys are an American vocal group consisting of Nick Carter, Howie Dorough, A.J. McLean, Brian Luttrell, and Kevin Richardson. Between the years 1995 and 1999, they released several popular singles, including I'll Never Break Your Heart, 1995, Quit Playing Games with My Heart, 1996, Everybody, 1997, All I Have to Give, 1998, I Want It That Way, 1999, Larger Than Life, 1999, and Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely, also in 1999. Big year for them. As large as the Backstreet Boys were throughout the 90s and early 2000s, they were never able to score a US chart topper. In spite of this, with over 130 million records sold worldwide, they are considered as one of the industry's biggest selling acts. In addition to their 9 Grammy Award nominations, the Backstreet Boys have received 2 MTV Video Music Awards, 2 AMAs, 5 Billboard Music Awards, and, for all the Canadians, a Juno Award. Coming in at number 11, the Backstreet Boys. Backstreet's back. All right. Okay. So, you guys ready for the top 10? It's going to get juicy now, but just before I announce them, I want to remind you once again, I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on Facebook and YouTube. Hi, Jenny. Rod Stewart for the... So my cousin Jenny's over on Facebook and is picking Rod Stewart. DJ Ray, I'm here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock with my show, DJ Ray's Music Goats, with the GOATs standing for the greatest of all time in different music categories. Tonight's category is the greatest 90s artist of all time. And if you haven't already picked who you think is the greatest, please do. Just type it in there. Try to avoid what somebody else has picked, but it doesn't matter. It's really about picking. But if you pick first and you pick the winner, you get added to our Wall of Champions. And we just started this Wall of Champions. So far we've got 2, and it's Darren the first week of May and Uncle Mike the second. So they're the guys to tangle with right now. Okay, let's get ready for the top 10. Just give me one sec here. Ange says, hi, Jenny. So does Mommy Dearest. Okay, so Johnny's got Bruce Springsteen for the 90s. Okay, let's continue. The top 10 now of the greatest 90s artists of all time. Coming in at number 10, Whitney Houston. Born in Newark, New Jersey on August 9th, 1963, the late Whitney Elizabeth Houston was an American singer who was commonly referred to as the Voice. She signed her first record contract at the age of 19 and proceeded to take the 1980s by storm. Her success continued into the 1990s with chart-topping U.S. singles like I'm Your Baby Tonight, 1990, All the Man That I Need, 1990, I Will Always Love You, 1992, and Exhale, 1995. In 1991, at Super Bowl 25, she performed an acclaimed rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. Say that 5 times quick. Star Spangled Banner, which peaked at number 20 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. How often does the national anthem get to number 20 on the charts across the country? And that's the US charts. She has sold more than 220 million records throughout her career. And in 2023, Rolling Stone magazine ranked her at number 2 on their list of the greatest singers of all time. Now, again, you're probably thinking, how is Whitney Houston at number 10? She's a freaking diva. The thing is, she was bigger in the 1980s. As big as she was in the 90s, she was way bigger in the 80s. So I'm not carrying any of that over. So if you're just going with the 90s, she is at number 10, which is still pretty impressive. Number 10 is Whitney Houston. Okay, talk about a big 90s. This next artist just kind of somewhat redefined the 90s. And coming in at number 9, tip your hat to the Canadian, it's Alanis Morissette. Born in Ottawa, Ontario on June 1st, 1974, Alanis Nadine Morissette became a cultural phenomenon during the mid-1990s. Having sold more than 75 million records worldwide, she is considered as one of the best-selling music artists of all time. With her edgy rock vibe, she racked up several popular singles between the years 95 and 99. This list includes hits like You Oughta Know, 1995, You Learn, 1995, Hand in My Pocket, 1995, good year, Ironic, 1996, Head Over Feet, 1996, Thank You, 1998, and Unsent, 1999. So many hits, Mary, you're right. Her impressive list of accolades includes 1 Brit Award, 2 AMAs, 7 Grammy Awards, and 14 Juno Awards. In 2005, she was officially inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. And for those of you who I haven't mentioned this to before, when I say a Brit Award, it's really impressive. It's the UK's version of a Grammy. So it's basically like saying a Grammy. I'd still say Grammys are here and Brit Awards are here, but it's kind of like the Stanley. If you're, for any Americans, they might not know what I'm talking about, but Canadians, a lot of Canadians, they get me. It's like using, the Grammys like the Stanley Cup, and the Brit Awards like the Conn Smythe. So both huge trophies, but everybody wants the Stanley Cup. That's the Grammy. But she won 7 of them. Coming in at number 9 is Alanis Morissette, the greatest music artist of the 90s. And she was on my chart for the Canadian solo artist too last week. Charted a little bit higher, but for the Canadian artist. And I just always have to mention this about Alanis Morissette is when she first started in the late 80s, I think it was, or early 90s, she came out with a kind of a pop R&B song called Too Hot, and she was just known as Alanis, and it was terrible. And she just kind of went away for a bit, and all of a sudden she just exploded with this kind of edgy, in your face, woman hating or man hating, feminist power type of thing. And it was huge, and she just inspired so many artists going forward. So she takes the number 9 spot, Alanis Morissette. All right, let's continue on with number 8, another rock band. Coming in at number 8, Nirvana. Formed in Aberdeen, Washington in 1987, Nirvana was initially founded by lead singer Kurt Cobain and bassist Chris Novoselic, hard to say that one. Often referred to as the figurehead band of Generation X, they were the key contributor to the rise of the Seattle grunge movement in the early 1990s. In 1991, Nirvana found unexpected mainstream success with their single Smells Like Teen Spirit, the first release from their landmark album Nevermind. Characterized by a punk aesthetic, Nirvana's fusion of pop melodies and noise combined with a regular theme of social alienation, brought them global popularity. With grunge music on the rise all across America, Nirvana developed a faithful fan base with popular singles like Come As You Are, 1992, Lithium, 1992, and Heart-Shaped Box, 1993. Having sold more than 75 million records worldwide, they are considered as one of the best-selling bands of all time. In 2014, all members of Nirvana were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2023, they were honored with the prestigious Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. One other quick thing I want to say, Nirvana and Alanis Morissette, who was at number 9, both sold 75 million records. And you're probably thinking, well, Whitney Houston had 220 million. But keep in mind, this is the 90s. A lot of those millions of records she sold were in the 80s. So remember that. If you're sitting there thinking, how come they sold 75 million and Whitney Houston sold 220 million? You know, and Whitney Houston was great in the 90s, but not as big as Nirvana, not for the 90s. Okay, so Nirvana takes number 8, which takes me down to number 7. And guess what? It's another Canadian. And I think somebody said this one. I'm not too sure. You can kind of pipe up if it's you that said it, because it's pretty impressive. Number 7, Shania Twain. Born in Windsor, Ontario on August 28, 1965, the queen of country pop, thank you for that, has sold over 100 million records, making her the best-selling female artist in country music history. That's over Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, all of them. Her most popular singles during the 90s include Any Man of Mine, 1995, Don't Be Stupid, 1997, That Don't Impress Me Much, 1998, You're Still the One, 1998, and Man, I Feel Like a Woman, 1999. Also in 1999, Shania Twain was named Entertainer of the Year by both the Country Music Association and the Academy of Country Music. Throughout her spectacular career, she has received 2 World Music Awards, 5 Grammy Awards, and 39 BMI Songwriter Awards. Her other career achievements include inductions into the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Her incredible legacy paved the way for popular singers like Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift. I can never say enough about Shania Twain. I mean, look, all these other artists are more mainstream pop stuff. She did this as just a country artist. Now, granted, she's a crossover country artist. She's not like, traditional like Patsy Cline or Loretta Lynn, but more of a, you'd hear her songs on the regular radio, but she still was a country artist. And she's from Canada to boot. So you really got to tip your hat to her. And maybe I'm being biased because I'm Canadian, but coming in at number 7, well-deserved, Shania Twain. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Just a quick reminder, once again, I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Jenny, you having your little party over there on Facebook? Number 1, yeah, Rod Stewart. I think you'd pick Rod Stewart even if it was the greatest artist of 2025. Anyway, I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, live on Facebook and TikTok with my show Music Goats with DJ Ray, featuring the greatest of all time in different music categories. Tonight's category, the greatest 90s music artist. We left off at number 7, and I'll just tell you that from 10 back, number 10 was Whitney Houston, number 9 was Alanis Morissette, number 8 was Nirvana, number 7 was Shania Twain, and number 6, Janet Jackson. Born in Gary, Indiana on May 16th, 1966, Janet Demita Jo Jackson is an American singer-songwriter who's known for her sexually provocative records and elaborate stage shows. Her sound and choreography became a catalyst in the growth of MTV, enabling her incredible rise to prominence. One of the biggest superstars to come out of the 1980s, she entered the 90s decade with momentum fully on her side. Her first release in the new decade was titled Escape. It was a US chart topper, and it would prove to lead to many more number 1 singles, including Black Cat, 1990, Love Will Never Do, 1990, That's the Way Love Goes, 1993, Again, 1993, and Together Again, 1997. During the 1990s, Janet Jackson became one of the highest paid artists in the music industry, signing 2 record-breaking multi-million-dollar contracts with Virgin Records. Throughout her career, she has sold over 100 million records, and her accolades include 5 Grammy Awards, 11 Billboard Music Awards, 11 AMAs, 8 Guinness World Records, and a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. In 2019, she was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 6 on the greatest artists of the 1990s, Janet Jackson. God, I remember her like in the 80s, and I guess she didn't quite have as much music as Madonna, but I remember them running neck and neck for popularity. Now, of course, Madonna ended up winning out a bit there in the 80s, but, she, and people forget about her, but she was amazing. Janet Jackson is at number 6, which takes us to top 5. Patsy Cline, Mountain Mama, are you okay? Where'd you get Patsy Cline? I hope that's not your pick. I mean, she's from the 50s, right? But hey, what the heck, So let's get into the top 5. Get a quick drink. In many ways, this next group seems like the biggest of the 90s. Maybe the only thing holding them back from winning this particular category tonight is the fact that they came out through about the mid-90s. And that is the Spice Girls. Originating out of London, England in 1994, the Spice Girls were a British girl group consisting of members Mel B, Scary Spice, Mel C, Sporty Spice, Emma Bunton, Baby Spice, Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice, and Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice. Having sold more than 100 million records worldwide, they are undeniably the greatest all-girl group ever assembled. Using their girl power mantra, they became extremely popular with a young female fan base. Their 1996 debut single, Wannabe, exploded on the world scene by topping the charts in 37 different countries around the globe, including Australia, the UK, and America, to name a few. Other than Wannabe, the Spice Girls had success with many other popular singles like Say You'll Be There, 1996, Two Become One, 1996, Spice Up Your Life, 1997, Too Much, 1997, and Goodbye, 1998. What era is tonight's era, Mountain Mama, by the way, hi, is, Ange got there quicker than me. Thanks, Ange. Yeah, greatest 90s artist is tonight. And we're at number 5, the Spice Girls. Among their impressive repertoire, the Spice Girls have accumulated many accolades, including 5 Brit Awards, 4 Billboard Music Awards, and 3 AMAs. So obviously being of British descent, they definitely ranked higher in the UK than they did here in America. But you guys remember, even in Canada, how big the Spice Girls were. Coming in at number 5, it is the Spice Girls on the greatest 90s artists of all time. Thanks, Al, for pitching in there too. You guys are great. Okay, I gotta say, just like always, the top 4 here are I'm just checking. Oh my God, they're like freaking iconic. All 4 of them, iconic. Okay? Now keep in mind, one last time I want to say is that some of these artists made their bones in the 80s. This next artist made their bones in even the 70s. So even though this next artist is at number 4, he would easily be number 1 of all time if it wasn't just the 90s. And although he had a great 90s, phenomenal 90s, for his standards, it still wasn't as great as the 80s. Maybe better than the 90s, but he had a lot of momentum going on. Number 4 on the greatest 90s music artists of all time, Michael Jackson. Born in Gary, Indiana on August 29th, 1958, the late Michael Jackson was a major superstar in the 1970s, 1980s, and of course the 1990s. During the latter decade, the King of Pop continued his incredible success by releasing his acclaimed album, Dangerous, which produced the number 1 US single, Black or White. By this point in his career, Michael Jackson had become a cultural icon, which allowed him to carry his early success right through the entire 90s. During this decade, he had many top 10 US singles, including songs like Remember the Time, 1992, In the Closet, 1992, Will You Be There, 1993, Scream featuring sister Janet Jackson, 1995, and his final US chart topper, You Are Not Alone, 1995. Last time Michael Jackson was at number one, 1995. It was during the 1990s that Michael Jackson became a figure of controversy and speculation due to his changing appearance, relationships, behavior, and lifestyle. In spite of all this contention, he continued his journey as the greatest pop star that ever lived. Throughout his tremendous career, he has sold over, check this out, 500 million records worldwide, including 53 million albums in just the 90s alone. One of the most awarded artists in music history, his accolades include 6 Brit Awards, 13 Grammy Awards, the Grammy Legend Award, and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, including Artist of the Century. In 2024, half of his music catalog was purchased by Sony for $600 million US dollars, the largest acquisition for a single artist in history. So, yeah, look at that accolades. I mean, it's easy to see that if this was an all-time, Michael Jackson pretty much is the greatest of all time. But because we're taking away all his 80s stuff and all his 90s stuff and his early 2000s stuff and just focusing on the 90s, he comes in at number 4. Okay, I never thought I'd see Michael Jackson number 4 on any list, but wait till you hear this next one. Top 3, I always do a little mini drum roll. Mountain Mama used to help me with that, I believe, but okay. Here we go. Guys, we're getting close, so we want to find out who's the champion tonight. Number 3, much like Michael Jackson as a female, number 3 is Madonna. Born in Bay City, Michigan on August 16th, 1958, Madonna Louise Ciccone is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer who has been recognized for her continual reinvention and visual presentation. Referred to by many as the Queen of Pop, we just did the King of Pop, now we got the Queen of Pop. Madonna's sexual, political, and religious themes have generated both controversy and critical acclaim. Although she was the ultimate female legend throughout the 1980s, her work in the 90s was equally impressive in many ways. The decade kicked off with a US chart topper that witnessed one of Madonna's many redefined characters as she released her iconic number 1 single, Vogue. She followed up with many other US chart toppers, including Justify My Love, 1990, This Used to Be My Playground, 1992, and Take a Bow, 1994. The music video for her darkest and most controversial song, Erotica, released in 1992, was ultimately banned by MTV due to its explicit sexual nature. Not Madonna. She's still being sexual at, what is she, 65 or something? Madonna is the most successful solo artist in the history of the US Billboard Hot 100 chart and has achieved unbelievable, unprecedented 44 number 1 singles. Her accolades include 7 Grammy Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, 20 MTV Video Awards, and an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in her very first year of eligibility. Coming in at number 3 on DJ Ray's greatest 90s artist of all time is Madonna. So let's just repeat the top 5 really quick. So at number 5, we had the Spice Girls. At number 4, the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. And at number 3, the Queen of Pop, Madonna. So who's number 2? Who's number 1? Okay, let's see. I'll tell you something, though. No, I'm not going to tell you anything. No, I'll tell you after. Okay. So, coming in at number 2. You guys ready for this? A Canadian. Can you believe that? A Canadian was the second greatest of the 1990s, and her name is Celine Dion. Often referred to as the Queen of Power Ballads, Celine Dion was born in Charlemagne, Quebec on March 30th, 1968. With over 200 million records sold worldwide, she is hands down the best-selling Canadian recording artist ever and is one of the best-selling music artists of all time. Throughout her incredible career, she has scored 16 number one albums and a string of popular singles from the 90s, including If You Asked Me To, 1992, The Power of Love, 1993, Because You Loved Me, 1996, It's All Coming Back to Me Now, 1996, My Heart Will Go On from Titanic, 1997, and I'm Your Angel with R. Kelly, 1998. You might regret that one. 4 of these singles also topped the US charts. Yeah, Uncle Mike knows this one. That's how he won the greatest Canadian solo artist last week. She was number 1 in this one and number 2 of the 90s. She's had quite the career. She is one of the highest grossing touring artists in history and only the second female artist to accumulate $1 billion US in concert revenue until Taylor Swift came along. One of the wealthiest musicians in the world, Forbes magazine ranked her as the highest paid female musician for the years 1997, 1998, 2004, and 2006. Her accolades include 12 World Music Awards, 9 Billboard Music Awards, 7 AMAs, 5 Grammys, 20 Juno Awards, and 4 Guinness World Records. Okay. Coming in at number 2. I'm not sure if anybody picked. I didn't see a Celine Dion, but if you did, very impressive. Coming in at number 2, a fellow Canadian, Celine Dion. Just so sad to see what she's going through lately with that, stiff person syndrome or whatever. Just you hear that beautiful voice ringing throughout the decades, and yeah, just it is what it is, I guess. All right, guys, time for number 1. Just before I announce the number 1, thanks, Ange, for that. You're at 35K, guy. Look at you. That's my beautiful sister and my beautiful mom moderating. That's what family's all about. And we just celebrated Mother's Day all together a couple days ago. Family got together, just a little get together, and as always, it was lots of fun and good times had by all. Okay, just before I announce number 1, I'm DJ Ray. I'm here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, live on social media here on TikTok and Facebook. Hey, Ginny. And my show is called DJ Ray's Music Goats, and every week I do the greatest of all time in a different music theme, which stick around for a couple minutes after I announce the number 1 so you can find out what next week's theme is. And we try to determine who the GOAT is. As the years go on, those who love music, we like to know these things. A lot of this is memories too, So, you guys ready? I got to do my drum roll for the number 1 song. Not song, sorry. The number 1 music artist of the 1990s. And congratulations to Ange. Ange joins the championship plateau with Uncle Mike and Darren. So Ange, Darren, and Uncle Mike now have championships, and Ange picked Mariah Carey. I don't think I know of any artist of any decade. Now, remember what I said when I started this show, that the 90s were kind of one of the weakest decades. So not to take anything away from Mariah Carey, but, for music, if you look at all the other decades, even newer ones, it probably was one of the weaker ones, with the exception of the Seattle grunge. And there's a few artists and stuff, but a lot of these artists like Janet Jackson and Madonna and Michael Jackson and all of these, Whitney Houston, they really made their bones in the 80s. So the 90s, they could have farted on records and made, platinum records, So Mariah Carey, different though. She started in, I think it was 1989. So she came in like a bomb, in her first, song, and ended right to the end. And I'd never seen anything like it for a decade, not even Michael Jackson. So many number 1 hits. Let's get to it. Mariah Carey is number 1. Congratulations, Jan. You joined our champion circle. Born in Huntington, New York on March 27th, 1969, Mariah Carey is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer. Is known for her 5-octave vocal range and diva persona. She rose to fame in 1990 with her self-titled debut album and became the only artist ever to have their first 5 singles reached number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart in the US. Can you imagine? You're a brand new artist and first 5 songs are number 1 in the US. These 5 chart toppers include her singles Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, I Don't Want to Cry, and Emotions. She also followed up with several other number 1 singles during the 90s, including I'll Be There, 1992, Dream Lover, 1993, Hero, 1993, All I Want for Christmas Is You, 1994, Fantasy, 1995, One Sweet Day featuring Boys to Men, 1995, Always Be My Baby, 1996, Honey, 1997, My All, 1998, Heartbreaker, 1999, and Thank God I Found You, also in 1999. Whew, gotta catch my breath, that was a lot. For those who weren't keeping count, that's an unprecedented 16 US chart toppers, with at least one number 1 single in each year throughout the 90s. So she had a number 1 song every year from 1990 to 99. How do you top that for the 90s? Would she be the greatest artist of all time? No. But is she the greatest of the 90s? Yes. If that's not enough for you, she followed up with 3 more US chart toppers in the new millennium once the 2000s hit. So she wasn't finished there. Her accolades include 5 Grammy Awards, 10 AMAs, 14 Billboard Music Awards, and 19 World Music Awards. With over 220 million records sold worldwide, and remember, most of those were sold in the 90s, she is one of the best-selling artists in music history. She has also been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and in 2023, Rolling Stone magazine ranked her as the 5th greatest singer of all time. And that's it. Mariah Carey, congratulations, Ange. So right now, just in case you guys want to know, we have 3 champions. We're keeping record. Our moderator, Mommy Dearest, April 29th, Darren was our champion for the best Beatles song. May 6th, Uncle Mike was our champion for the best Canadian solo artist. Beatles song was Hey Jude. Canadian solo artist was Celine Dion. And today, May 13th, Ange is the greatest 90s artist with Mariah Carey. So we're going to keep these records, and eventually we're going to have a champion of champions and maybe have a nice little prize to go with it. So I just was saying to you, hold on so I can tell you what next week's program is going to be. Thanks, Ange. 44K, that's awesome, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I really like that. That's amazing. Next week, I'm going to get a little mushy on May 20th. I know it's not Valentine's Day or anything, but you got to change it up every once in a while. It's going to be the greatest love song of all time. Okay, this one's going to be the hardest one yet. I thought picking the greatest 70s song without going into genres, I thought that was hard. The greatest love song of all time. If one of you guys wins this one, I should give you 2 championships for winning this next week one. But think about it, it's doable to pick it. I want to see if you can pick out the greatest of all time. Greatest love song, next Tuesday, May 20th, live here on Facebook and TikTok. And with that, be sure and check me out on social media. I'm on most of the major platforms, and you can easily find me by typing in DJ Ray's Music with whatever platform you go to. Alternately, you can check out my official website at djraysmusic.com. And that's about it. I was thinking, guys, just before I let you go, that maybe starting next week, if I got somebody, maybe Ange, Mary, or somebody, if you're welcome, Mary, and I'd like to consider maybe having a little guest for about 5 or 10 minutes at the end. I don't want to have too many because, and we can kind of talk about the theme that was. So if next week, if anybody wants to kind of come in and be in the bubble and show their face and talk instead of type, consider that. And maybe, we'll start off with just me and somebody else at the very end and talk about music for a few minutes, okay? Just a thought. Anyway, thank you all. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody, hi, Fraggle Rock. I didn't see you there. Have a great night, guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday, May 20th, for the greatest love ballad of all time. Thank you.